All right, we're good?
Hey, man.
Hey, good morning. Let's call the December 15th Rankin County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. And to start with, Mr. Slay, how are you doing this morning? Since you got that coat on, do you mind saying a prayer for us? Mike Word's a little under the weather today, I think. Thank you.
Let's pray again. Father, this is a perfect opportunity for us to acknowledge that we need your presence with us. And we, at this time of year, Father, we thank you that your presence with us is a very real thing. Father, that you came yourself in the form of a baby. And you took on the form of man, Lord, and you lived out a life as an example to us. And then you became the perfect sacrifice for our sins. Father, in a very real way, you stepped into our reality. And so we thank you for your presence here with us, and we celebrate your arrival to be with us out of your great love for us. So, Father, I pray that you would love us, even though we are not lovable at times. Father, that you would forgive us, even though we fail you at times. Father, that you would help us with wisdom and discernment so that we might make decisions, Lord, that are in keeping with your will. Father, I pray that these men would feel your presence this morning and that they would make decisions that please you in Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Slay. Public comments, I'm going to have to kind of defer, and I didn't mention this to him before, but the number one cowboy in my heart, Steve Gaines. So, being a rodeo champion, do you mind handling this public comments and introducing to us Ms. Morgan?
I will.
Thank you, Daniel. You're going to put a better cowboy talk to it than me.
The only reason I'm Daniel's number one cowboy in his life, or not maybe life, is because I'm the only one he knows.
That's right. It's the only one I got.
All right. We have Zoe, who is a twin, and her mother Ellen and Brad here, and we want to congratulate her. She was our national junior princess in 2021 National Little Britches Rodeo Finals in Guthrie, Oklahoma. And I can say this, the competition was stiff. It's just to get out of Mississippi, I'm going to say there's somewhere around 400 members in this this Little Britches Rodeo Association. And when she left here, the competition got stiffer. I've seen her give her speech and presentation, and I knew she was going to be in the finals. But anyhow, we want to recognize her with the resolution. And Craig, would you come and help me there?
I'll be glad to. And so would you mind coming right here, stand with me? Sorry about that. Brad, Ellen. Come on.
Cut me go.
Ellen, if you want to capture this on
Hey.
video, I bet we can find
Hey, Slay, can we all come down there? Do you mind on
Come
that?
on,
We're
come
good?
on.
Jay, you
Yeah.
good? Sure. Hey, Jay, well, put your hat on, game.
There you go.
I didn't know if that was my hat or game's.
Put it up there. You want it up, you want sorry.
Larry, you want to go up? Sure. You want to get in up here? Hey, Brian, you want to come up? We get our elected officials up here on the same side. Here, let's stand by her. Oh, you stand by Gaines. He's probably-
So it's always good to start a meeting like this. This is a fun part of our meeting. Nobody's arguing or fussing over anything at all. We're all excited to be able to recognize you. I have a resolution that I'm going to read to you that captures a lot of the facts and circumstances about your win in Guthrie, Oklahoma at the Little Britches National Rodeo Finals. And so we want to read this out. And I'm thankful that we can recognize you because what you have accomplished is something that is noteworthy. It's something that we ought to celebrate. And we're excited when our young folks like yourself reach the pinnacle of success, even in faraway places, and then come back home and we can celebrate with you. So that's an exciting thing. So the supervisors are excited to do this. Whereas Miss Zoe Morgan is the 12-year-old daughter of Brad and Ellen Morgan, all of whom are residents of Rankin County, Supervisor District 4. Whereas on July 5 through 11, 2021, Zoe Morgan competed as a contestant in multiple events at the National Little Britches Rodeo Finals in Guthrie, Oklahoma, among them barrels and trail and junior princess competition. 1,613 contestants ages 5 through 18 competed in the National Little Riches Rodeo Finals in 2021, making the event the largest youth rodeo competition in the world. This event provides contestants with the opportunity to earn substantial college scholarships, that's good, while showcasing skills and abilities that deserve recognition. Whereas during the course of the week-long event, Zoe participated in the pageant division, where contestants were judged on poise, personality, speech, horsemanship, and interview, and a written test. Zoe excelled and was crowned Junior Princess, earning multiple awards and prizes, including a college scholarship. As part of her Junior Princess duties, Zoe will travel to Las Vegas, Dallas, and Arlington, Texas, and Oklahoma as an ambassador of the National Little Britches Rodeo Association. And whereas Zoe is a 7th grader at Madison Regional Academy, where she maintains an A average, and we're very proud of Zoe's academic record. And whereas the Rankin County Board of Supervisors is a proud supporter of the livestock and horse communities in our county, and is especially proud to support our youth who seek to achieve at the highest levels of rodeo. The board believes that rodeo competitions provide experiences, opportunities, and encounters that instill valuable mental and physical skills, work ethic, and learning experiences that would otherwise be unavailable. We are very proud of Zoe Morgan and the Morgan family for their commitment to the sport of rodeo and organizations like Little Britches Rodeo Association. And whereas it is with great pride on behalf of all citizens of Rankin County that we, the Rankin County Board of Supervisors, recognize and commend Ms. Zoe Morgan on her special achievements at the 2021 National Little Britches Rodeo Finals. That's resolved today, the 15th of December 2021. It's signed by each of our supervisors and also by Mr. Swales, our Chancery Clerk, and we are so thrilled and excited to hand you the original of that, and we want to say how proud we are of you, and we congratulate you on your accomplishments.
Hey, congratulations, girl. When she was a little girl, I've got a video. She was about 5. Her and her sister, Brad and I, were rodeoing. And we were running steer racing. And when I ran, she was about this big and had a hat. Go Steve, go Steve, go Steve. And Brad said, what about me?
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Very smooth right on in there.
Perfect.
About time.
Yeah. Mama, okay? I mean, there's nothing bad, not worse.
Well, I hadn't heard a report this morning. Yeah, but I don't think she's worse.
I want you to know I wore cowboy boots and jeans for you today.
Bam!
Just for you. You know, I knew we had a cowboy agenda. All right, congratulations again to Ms. Morgan. So that'll conclude. Any other public comments, Samantha, Janice?
No, sir. I checked.
All good, huh?
Good, Jay.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move into item number 4. It goes to Brad. I think Brad needs that from Jay. Item number 4, old business. The board wishes to entertain a motion to approve minutes from December 6, 2021. Motion by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Gaines. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with the like sign. Item 5, consent agenda.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Morrison.
Second.
Second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with the like sign. So item 5 passes. Item 6, I don't see Mr. Sullivan, but Mr. Cooper's here. Good morning.
I'll step in. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good.
I'll be speaking for John today, and item A, petition to change the role on real assessment, personal property assessment role.
Motion approved.
The motion approved by Mr. Morrison.
Second.
Second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with the like signs. Item B, Mr. Cooper.
Petition to adjust the 2021 homestead exemption supplemental role.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve, Mr. Calhoun. Second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like signs. Item C, Mr. Cooper.
The approval to certify the Department of Revenue's approval for real and personal property roles for 2021.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Calhoun. Second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with the like sign. Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Item number 7, Ms. Herring. Good morning. So item A, under awarding annual term bids.
It's for asphalt, metal culverts, poly culverts, polyurethane, foam application, asphalt leveling and patching. Y'all have the recommendations in your packet. Do you want me to individually read out all of that?
Is this does this include our asphalt?
Yeah, it includes everything, yes.
So
Asphalt,
on the,
culverts.
in place, the one that they were the equal on,
Which one?
we're
That was
giving that
on a-
one to AdCamp, correct?
That's only for the plant mix, the FOB that we pick up for the surface
Yeah.
in place. They're gonna be awarded to both of them, and if one's not available, they'll go to the other one,
But we can select AdCamp as number one.
if that's your choice.
For number one on here, on,
Yes, anytime.
which
the-
one are you looking at?
This would be
Yeah.
item 5 on the first bid, it's at 403C1 FOB surface plant mix. That's what
Okay.
we go pick up.
What are you looking at? I got so many of them.
Yeah, I got so many sheets
Yeah,
here.
trying to get them sorted out here.
It should have been first in the stack.
What's it look like? I mean, you say which first sheet there? I got
It's
about 6 of them.
22-300-1 for term bids
Yeah.
for asphalt.
Yeah,
We literally have like 7 pieces of paper
Yeah.
here.
yeah.
We have a lot of bids.
All right,
But
so,
on that item, they both bid $65 per ton for that mix that we pick up. AJ and
Here's
AdCamp.
the thing, that the bids are identical,
right,
right? And the location is.
one's in Rankin County.
They are identical in mileage from the shop. I think we measured it to the shop, is that right? Yes. Mike?
Mike.
Yeah. They're both the exact same number of miles to the shop. So is there a basis that we would
Yeah.
select AdCamp above
Yeah.
the identical other bid?
One's
other
in
than
our
just-
county.
Yeah.
And not only that, I mean, he pays taxes here too. So, to me, and not only
Big-
that,
big-
hell, heck, our, years of service, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Familiarity with this particular vendor could probably be substantiated. Our experience with that vendor, our long history with that vendor, that's probably a good basis to make that selection be not both and, but instead option 1, option 2. But we need to state that clearly on the record, that the reason we would place the identical bid above the other is because of our experience and history with that particular vendor.
I agree.
and so how do we have it set now on the others, that whenever we have a PO out and number of days, how many days is it?
We have alternatives, we have the successful bidder,
Yeah,
but y'all have received a recommendation that particular entity be established as the successful bidder because their bid is better than everybody else's.
Right.
Right? And then there are up to 2 alternates beyond that. And if the successful bidder is not able to meet the terms of the purchase order, we are authorized at that point to go to option 2. The issue for us is gonna always be a timing issue, okay? So here's the point. If we have them both selected as an available option, then rather than issuing a purchase order to the successful and waiting for them to respond, we have the option to select either or based on their availability.
And the difference on these, this is plant mix. I issue a monthly PO, we go pick this up. This isn't surface in place where they come out and put it on the road.
I
This
understand.
is not, that would be item 2. This is
Right.
just the plant mix that we use. And we've done this before, when we have alternates, if primary is down, which happens a lot with their plants, we'll go to alternate number 2.
Yeah, I was
Number
just
1.
wanting to, make the number one be the one in Rankin County.
And this is the same way with the poly and metal culverts. They bid the identical prices. We chose Southern Pipe. They are the Rankin County one. G&O is in Jackson.
That's even better, yeah. All right.
So really, it's up, I'm just giving you I'm laying it out for you. If you want to put AdCamp as the one on that particular item, you can do that. I just want to be clear that the basis we're doing that is our experience with that vendor. our history with that vendor.
All right, so you gonna make a motion on that, Jay?
Yes, I'll put that in form of motion.
I'll second.
So that's 1 through 5 with the wording on number 5 and number 3?
No, 5 is by itself. They want, I mean, that one's, so this is just for item 1.
Item 1, you're talking about just item 1?
Yes.
So we're gonna vote, Bridget, on each one individually?
Okay.
Item 1, 2, 3, and 4,
At
so,
this point,
all right, so motion by,
Well, we don't have to do that. Let's just,
can you
Just
make it all in
let's
one
just
motion
do
then?
5 will be ad camp and then do the rest as
There's
recommended.
another one, you wanna leave it alone,
Which one?
the culverts, and well, there's two identical.
If you want to clarify that also, and
Yeah,
that's,
at the
it's
same
always
time.
been like
Is
that.
that on
between
this same one too?
It's on
That's
it's
item-
number 3, right?
2 and 3, they have identical pricing on their bids.
This right here is not culverts, this sheet is.
I'm looking on the
No.
agenda, look at the agenda.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
see, we got me confused
I'm just
too,
pulling, I'm
Jay.
just
You
pulling
got
off what's
paper
on the,
out
I'm
there.
just,
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay.
Yeah, I got
All right.
you. Yeah, I see
That's
that.
where I was getting those numbers
Okay,
from.
all right, yeah. Yeah, so we'll do number 1 now?
all right, so a motion to approve item number 1 with the wording from
Yep.
Mr. Bishop,
Yep.
Second.
Second.
second by Mr. Morrison.
Yeah.
Slade, you wanna state that wording again? That's on item number 1?
So on item 1, asphalt, Bridget, which component is it?
Number 5.
Not the
It's-
number
you get your
5
It is
component.
FO3, 403 C1 FOB surface.
That particular line item under the asphalt term bid, that particular line item is adjusted to reflect that AdCamp is selected as the primary award holder.
Yeah.
Correct.
We will use an alternate for the identical quote from the vendor that is located in Hines County.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the motion by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr.
Second.
Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with a like sign, so item 1 passes. Item number 2, and you may wanna do 2 and 3 together,
Yes,
Ms.
2 and
Bridget?
3 can be taken together.
Jay, 2 and 3
For the same
together.
reasoning.
All right.
On the
I'm making a motion to
agenda.
approve to use the Rankin County vendor
Southern
when possible.
On items 2 and 3?
On items 2 and 3.
Okay, so a motion by Mr.
Second.
Bishop, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with a like sign. Item 4, Ms. Herring, if we need any kind of justification on
No,
that.
it's just Bulldog Construction, award to Bulldog with Helms Polyfoam as the alternate.
Okay.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with a like sign, so item 4 passes. Item 5,
It's award to AdCamp with AJ Construction as alternate number 1 and Dickerson and Bowen as alternate number 2.
okay.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve, Mr. Calhoun, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed with the like signs. Item 5 passes. Thank you, Ms. Herring. Is anything else you want to?
Item B.
All right.
Requesting sole source approval of Gray Key Forensic Software Training Materials and Licensing for the Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
If I may, I'd like to suggest that we add one line to this particular line item here, this particular agenda item. What I need you to do is to also authorize the sheriff to execute a purchasing agreement with the Madison County Sheriff's Office. So this would be an intergovernmental agreement. What you're approving in the agenda item here is a sole source and a purchase of what would end up being Rankin County's portion of a shared agreement with respect to this software. Madison County and Rankin County are joining together to secure this. Secure X? Oh, Madison, I'm sorry, I'm saying Madison County Sheriff's Office, and I assumed something. Madison PD.
Okay.
And so what we need to do is to add one item, a section here to this agenda item, and authority to enter into purchase agreement with Madison PD.
Okay.
All right, I make a motion that we add this purchase agreement with Madison PD and our local sheriff's department. That's to add it.
That's correct.
Okay. So that's a motion by Mr. Gaines under item B, second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the like sign. So one final motion, Mr. Slay, I guess, to
Yes.
approve item B.
Now approve
Mr.
all of
Gaines?
that. That's
I
all
make-
together now.
I make that same addition as a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Calhoun. So motion by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Calhoun to approve item B that we've added. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with a like sign. So item B modified has passed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herring. Item number 8, Mr. Slay, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. First item under my section, gentlemen, is a public hearing on Rankin County Stormwater Management Plan. We do this annually. Amendments to our stormwater management plan are subject to a public hearing. That has been published. Notice of this public hearing has been published in the newspaper as required. And so at this time, that public hearing is open, and I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak on the matter of Rankin County Stormwater Management Plan and the amendments thereto. Is anyone here to speak on that matter? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak on that matter. I'm not aware that anybody's waiting out in the hall either, and so we will close that public hearing. At this time, the next action item is to approve your stormwater management plan as amended.
All right, does the board wish to entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve by Mr. Calhoun,
Second.
second by Mr. Gaines. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with a like sign. So item A passes and the management plan's approved. Item B,
When
Mr.
will
Sloan.
we be incorporating our stormwater plan as a county? Making amendments to it?
All right, so let's define what we're talking about. Are we talking about ARPA and our ARPA projects, Jay? Or are we talking about the larger,
Yeah.
the bigger scope? Well, we already have a plan that's already been adopted. That was adopted in 2018. Okay, so the plan is already in place. I think what you're inquiring about is, when is that thing going to become an active entity?
Right.
That's to be determined. We don't currently have all of the required statutory authority in order for that thing to function with any significance. We are able to use that structure and framework with existing authorizations that this board has to be able to use and tap into our ARPA funding, and that's, y'all are going to be hearing more and more about that, some of which will be even later today. That's currently, that structure has to come through this board. Ultimately, what we want, I think what this board and possibly others who will have to speak on that matter at some point, what we want to see is the state law change so that a county-wide stormwater management program can function as an existing entity. And until state law is changed, that's not going to happen. More than likely, that is going to happen in upcoming legislative sessions. And there is currently a plan in place to both educate this session and get legislators who are going to have to be involved in that process up to speed. And next year, possibly next year, even though it's an election year, look at amendments, either amendments to state law that can help with that process, or crafting an entirely new state law to provide for that process. Okay. All right. So the good news is we can use existing statutory authority that this board has in conjunction with the plan that we have and tap into our ARPA.
You plan on talking about ARPA?
Yes, sir.
This meeting later?
I do.
Okay, all right.
I do, to some degree. Yes. All right.
All right, so we're under item B, Mr. Slade.
Item B is going to be a discussion of and potential action regarding a DEQ, what's called a VEP, or a voluntary environmental plan order on our Briar Hill Exide location. This goes back to a discussion that we've had previously about the problem that was visited upon Rankin County by Exide Battery Corporation when they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy originally about a year and a half ago, and then converted that to a Chapter 7 liquidation, and the company no longer exists. A bankruptcy trustee was authorized to take control of whatever remaining assets Exide Corporation had, and to spread those around all of the Exide properties across the United States for the purpose of taking care of environmental issues that corporation caused and created at all of their locations, or at most of their locations. In Florence, they have two locations. One we call the downtown battery plant. The other one is called the Oxide plant on Briar Hill Road. I'm talking about the Oxide plant on Briar Hill Road. The downtown battery plant is being cleaned up to some degree directly by EPA. That process has been ongoing for at least a couple of months now. My understanding is that they are in the latter stages of finishing up their work. That cleanup responsibility that EPA has undertaken is at no cost to Rankin County because of successful negotiations between Rankin County and your legal team and EPA. EPA agreed with our assessment that the county should not be responsible for any of that cleanup. And so EPA has undertaken that with their own funding and has moved forward with that process. At some point, they'll complete that, and we'll get a final report on that, and I'll have more to say about that with you guys. What is not addressed with respect to the EPA's actions on the downtown battery location is what's going to happen with the oxide location on Briar Hill. That's a totally different deal. Back in 1998, a prior Board of Supervisors, none of you guys has any responsibility for that, but a prior Board of Supervisors entered into an agreement with Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality to be responsible for the Exide battery location on Briar Hill Road. That cannot be undone. It can't be overcome. We have no other option than to honor the commitment that was made some 25 years ago.
That was prior to Jay being on the board.
It was.
Okay.
Barely. Barely. So that's the bad news is, the good news is we did not have to deal with the downtown location, which has a price tag probably in the neighborhood of about $10 million. Unfortunately, the bad news is we do have to deal with the oxide location out on Briar Hill, and the price tag on that one's going to be pretty steep, but not nearly what it could have been if we had been responsible for the downtown. So I'm here today to tell you that what I need is your authority to initiate the very beginning stages of a working out of an arrangement that allows this board to carry out the responsibility that it is already committed to. This is nothing more than initiating that process. We'll have much more to say about cost, activities, continuing responsibilities, all of that. That's for a later discussion that we will have, probably sooner rather than later. All I'm asking you to do today is to give the board president authority to indicate in writing to DEQ, we wish to voluntarily execute our responsibilities as opposed to being forced.
Craig, what's involved in the Briar Hill site?
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I've been out there and it looked pretty clean to me.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I know a lot
Unfortunately,
of things.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
what it appears is not always the reality.
Uh-huh.
There's a significant amount of residual lead, dust that is embedded both in the equipment that is still there, Brad, and also amongst the structure itself, on the structure, resident there because it had aerated. And so there is a cleanup responsibility that EPA has already identified through its experts. They reviewed both locations, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we have a report from EPA that indicates these are the issues that we see with this location, and here are the potential work responsibilities that need to be undertaken. And so what we're doing now is we're doing takeoffs. What would it take for us to comply with EPA's findings and DEQ's responsibility requirements? What is going to be the cost associated with that? Those numbers are being worked up even as we speak.
If we get this cleaned up, I mean, are we gonna be able to sell the property?
More than likely not, Brad. I'll tell you why. So the property at Briar Hill is actually owned in multiple parcels, some of which are still controlled by the bankruptcy trustee, and some of which have continuing monitoring responsibilities. I'll remind you that the big issue with the Briar Hill location was that the the predecessors in interest to Exide used that facility, used that property for some storage that ended up being a problem, a major problem. That site is, in my opinion, not usable in any respect.
So it's just gonna sit there from here on out? Like-
Yes, sir. It will stay like it is, and it will be monitored like it is until the federal government says that it's okay. And the likelihood that that'll be in any time soon is small. There is also a segment of that property that is no longer controlled by the bankruptcy estate nor the prior corporation, because it was subject to a lease between the county and the corporation. Okay? And so the lease has been abandoned by virtue of the bankruptcy proceeding, and that puts it back into the ownership of the county, which is why in 1998, by the way, the board would have said, well, we're the owner of the property, so we'll have to be responsible. Well, they really were backed into a corner, and they had no other option.
North or south of the plant?
It's north of the plant,
I know.
Jared.
Yeah.
North of the plant.
I got you.
It's where the buildings are. And Brad, I think at some point, there is a possibility that after the cleanup responsibilities have been undertaken, that through some process of evaluation, it's possible that those structures could be utilized to some degree, but there's always going to be that environmental taint that we have to deal with.
All right.
Right? So I'm just, again, so you understand what we're doing here, this is the first step in a lengthy process. We'll have more to say about this. We need to enter into this VEP order with DEQ so that they know that we're serious about undertaking our responsibilities.
Okay,
So moved.
All right, so motion by Mr. Bishop to approve,
second.
second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with light sign, so item B passes. Item C, Mr. Slay.
Item C is a situation where the town of Pelahatchie was required to do dilapidated property cleanup activity on a parcel that's inside the town of Pelahatchie. They did that. They put a lien on the property for $961.46 to recover their cleanup costs. That lien, for some reason, although it has been paid because this property went through a tax sale, that lien is still showing up on later tax bills as if it hasn't been paid. So this is cleanup. We need to acknowledge that the bill has already been paid, and there is no need to continue showing that as a lien against this property. This will allow the tax collector to remove that lien.
I make a motion to remove it.
Second.
All right, so motion by Mr. Gaines to remove it
Second.
under item C, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with light sign, so item C is approved to remove. Item D.
Item D
Mr. Slay.
is, this is what we have been doing through the youth court, through their 0 to 3 grant program that provides services related to infants, toddlers, and families. And so this is a continuation of that grant program. The grant previously has been $75,000 annually. Paul and Judge Broom are doing such a good job that they have doubled the grant award to $150,000. So we need to enter into a new agreement with 0 to 3. It tracks the old agreement. It just ups the amount that the award is to $150,000. You're approving the execution of that grant agreement. Should not cost the county anything. It hasn't cost the county anything up to this point. I expect that to continue.
I make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gaines to approve, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with light sign, so item D passes. Item E, Mr. Slay.
Item E is, in essence, it is allowing for an organized process for us to procure engineering services related to our ARPA program. You're authorizing publication of the request for qualifications for engineering services.
Okay. I make a motion to
All right,
approve.
so motion approved by Mr. Morrison,
Second.
second by Mr. Gaines. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I do. Well, what about benchmark?
They will be included in that program. We will take qualifications from all engineers, and you will select the engineers that you want to work on your ARPA projects.
Okay.
This is federal procurement, Jay. In reading the ARPA regulations, arguably, we have to go through this process in order for the federal government to say that our process is
Oh,
compliant.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant we were engaged in engineering services
No, sir.
company. Not-
No, sir.
I got you.
You're taking
Okay.
RFQs,
Gotcha.
Jay,
I'm with you.
and then you're
I'm
gonna
with you.
select
Alright.
your engineers.
He understood.
Yep. Yeah, I
He
misunderstood.
was going to the program.
All right,
Yeah.
motion to approve by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Morrison.
Well, I approve.
Yeah,
All right, so a
I
motion to-
think he-
It don't matter.
All right,
And
so
then-
motion to approve by Mr. Morrison, second by Mr. Gaines.
Yeah.
Any further discussion other than that? Jay, good?
Nope.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the light sign, so item E passes.
I've got
Mr.
about
Slade?
4 items I gotta talk to you about in executive session, so
Okay.
heads up.
Lovely. Mr. Hicks, good morning.
Good
We're
morning.
gonna move to item number 9 on the agenda.
All right, item A under my section is the continued renovation of the Community Services Building. And this is approval of the pay app number 2 to Mayrant and Associates in the amount of $172,863.36.
Okay. Board wish to entertain a motion to
Motion.
approve. Motion by Mr. Gaines to approve, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion?
How are they coming? I mean.
I was over there yesterday. It's looking, they're doing a great job, and hopefully they're planning on being done early.
Okay.
By
Great.
when, you think?
Hopefully the end of January.
Okay.
Depends on if they can get everything they need.
So did we put anything in there for new office furniture and all that?
I've gone back and looked, and I don't think anybody's addressed that. We have some furniture
think so
that's
either.
in very good shape that we're hoping to use, so we're trying to get an inventory of what we have and what we need in addition to that.
Okay,
We're not putting old stuff in there.
all right. Renee, you got your wish list up? All right.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. So item A passes. Item B, Mr. Hicks.
Item B is the Rankin County Health Facility renovation. They are finished with that renovation, and this item is approval to pay pay app number 3 to Multicon in the amount of $10,450, and also the final pay app number 4 to Multicon in the amount of $6,213, and authority to issue those checks, and we will submit our reimbursement request to Department of Health to get everything we pay back.
Okay,
Plus an administrative fee.
okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
So motion to approve by Mr. Calhoun, second by Mr. Bishop. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like signs. Item B passes. Item C, Mr. Hicks.
Item C is also related to our Rankin County Health Building, and it's the final payment to Hall Engineering for his services related to the renovation project in the amount of $3,479.22, and authority to issue that check.
Okay.
So move.
So motion by Mr. Bishop,
Second.
second by Mr. Calhoun. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. Anything under additional business, Mr. Hicks?
No, sir.
I know you got executive. Well, you got additional business.
I have one item in additional business, if y'all don't mind.
Okay.
And then, the sheriff is asking to be able to enter into an agreement with the United States Secret Service, and this is a memorandum of understanding, and it relates to the Cyber Fraud Security Task Force. And it allows for an arrangement where if our guys are involved in that work and they incur overtime, there is a way for us to be reimbursed for any overtime costs related to the work product. So you're you're asking the sheriff or allowing the sheriff to enter into an MOU with that task force so we can get our overtime.
All right. So we need to
Where am I
entertain a
getting
motion.
Need a motion to add
Add.
that and then approve it.
I'll make a motion to add this MOU between the Sheriff's Department and Secret Service for
Second.
personnel reasons.
Okay. So a motion by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign. So
I'll
motion
make
to approve.
a motion to approve.
Second.
The motion to approve by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the like sign.
I've got one.
All right. Mr. Slay, anything else additional business?
I don't have any additional
now?
business.
Mr. Hicks? You good? Gaines? You
I
got
got
something?
One thing with, hey, Mike Harrison, can you come up? We've got a road that's major construction, Andrew Chapel, and we recognized maybe in a meeting or two ago that we were a little bit, behind. And I think Mike met with the, contractor this week. They have an understanding, that we expect the road to be opened at Christmas. By Christmas, the road will be open to traffic to go through. And we've got to watch our days and where we're at with this. I don't want it to be a surprise to him or anybody else that if things don't pick up, and we're gonna revisit this, and it's probably not gonna be. I do not wanna get behind and where we're not in control. Mike, do you feel comfortable that, from your meeting this week? I wasn't.
Well, I mean, I feel comfortable with it right now, Steve. I mean, contractor told us everything we wanted to hear. We've heard that before. We're gonna see if the truth holds on it. But yes, we told him we had to get some road opens, we had to get some things done. We talked about safety on the job, pretty strenuous about some deep cuts, that getting those shored up and get some barriers out there through the holidays, on that. Both start giving us a weekly report of what his plans is every week, and then we're gonna have a monthly meeting.
Okay.
So
I just-
we
I
will
expect-
meet back with him when we come back from the first of the year.
Yep.
And we'll see where we're at and how he's hold to what he's told us he was gonna get done. Now, I know we've got weather relations that will.
Yeah.
Let's
Delay-
say, let's say if the road's not open, what we gonna do? Fire 'em?
We've got a number, I mean, we can go the next bidder.
Well, I'm gonna let legal team handle that.
We'll call the bond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, then they'll have to,
Yeah.
dictate that. That's right.
we don't really wanna go down that
You
road.
say,
We
No.
don't have
you're
to.
saying open by Christmas. You mean, if
If
it's
we call the
open,
bond,
we get
we're
through
looking
it
at another
through
year.
Christmas or completed to
No.
that?
No,
It's gonna be where they
just
can
where
pass.
people can go down the
Oh,
road.
okay, I
If-
was going to say, wow.
It was only supposed to be closed for an emergency type
Oh,
deal.
okay, I got you.
And it's
Yeah.
been closed for.
I got you, yeah.
So he understands he's got to get the road open, Steve.
Okay.
And so,
I would say just almost at every meeting, let's discuss it
okay.
and not get behind. I don't,
And he's aware of his days, you know, he's got some things that if he gets this section opened up, I mean, it's gonna balance out. The days are figured on his money billing. And if he starts putting asphalt and stuff down, then things are gonna equal out
quicker.
quicker on that. But we're just not at that stage yet, but he is aware
Okay.
of his days and contract times. He's got to explain that.
How many days
If
does
we
he have
have
left?
the contract called for the project that be open road, and he has it closed now, if we go in and force him to open it, that's not us intervening with his project, is it?
He's in breach of the agreement if he has the road closed and the contract very clearly says it cannot be
road
closed except for very specific reasons. I don't think any of us wants to get into a battle over how we interpret or read some gray area sections of that agreement. I think we want to try to just impress on this guy, you can't keep closing it like this because it's starting to impede local traffic.
Well, and Slade, let me add one thing to that. Not only does it impede local traffic, that does have an effect on our emergency response.
does.
That's right.
So I mean, from a
That's what we
safety
use-
standpoint, and
That's what we
that
used
same
yesterday was
perspective.
emergency response
you-
deal.
School
But we
bus.
can do it for temporary times and stuff like that, but
Sure.
over a period of time,
Right.
Well, the
rolling-
worst part is he's had it
we're rolling
closed
dice,
and
rolling
it's
dice.
still behind.
Well, you expect it to be closed.
So, I mean,
temporary
we can
sometime.
understand
That's right.
being behind
But
if we gotta deal with traffic,
No.
but he hasn't been dealing with traffic.
Not 2 or 3
I
days.
think that's where Steve's coming from.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think we're having some staffing issues
Yep.
as well.
Everybody,
Where
probably
Yeah.
everybody is.
we are.
all right.
I
Thank you,
understand that.
thank you, Mr. Harrison.
All right,
Gang, you have anything else to
Anything
add to that? You good? Do you have something? Anything else on additional business, Brad?
I'm good.
Bishop, you good? All right, so a motion for executive session. I know Mr. Slay has 40 items he wants
I
to
make the
cover.
motion.
So, Motion to go in for litigation,
Personnel.
and then personnel and litigation in
Property.
I
executive
got, I got
session.
something
Sir?
for,
Property acquisition.
Property acquisition.
I got
So
some in,
that's a motion by
Executive
Mr. Morrison,
in update.
Second.
Yeah, first.
second by Mr. Calhoun. Any
Yep.
further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with a like sign. So then a motion
I
to
make a motion going to executive session for personnel, property acquisition and
litigation.
litigation.
Yep, so now the motion again by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with a like sign. So we are in executive session.
Hey, Paul,
Good morning, Renee.
Grantham, how
get
you
your
feel?
hair cut? Where do you
Good?
get your hair cut?